Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This one is the Walcom Slim Kombat. Before I go off on what I was going to say, I just want to say thanks to everybody for the subscriptions and the likes, etc. All helps to make the channel grow, and it means that YouTube promote the videos more. And I'm not trying to create an empire. I'm a bit old for that really, but you know, the more people see the videos, the better. So thanks very much to everybody anyway. So, Walcom Slim Kombat. Now, these things in the UK retail for about £195, something like that. I got this together with a Walcom Slim X Lite for £300 on a Black Friday deal. So you buy the two of them together. So, I'm figuring they cost me about £150 each, but you know, it depends where you are, I guess, as to how much they are. So they're not expensive is what I'm trying to say, but they're not cheap either. They're sort of middle of the road guns, I guess. Now, they're designed to be, this one is designed to be a full-size gun, and it is a full-size gun. But it's made out of Kevlar. The higher class Walcoms, I say higher class, the more expensive Walcoms are made out of carbon fibre. This is, as I say, Kevlar, so it's a composite material. It's definitely lighter than some of the other guns in its class, but it's actually lighter than the X Lite, believe it or not. So the Slim Kombat is lighter than the X Lite, although they look to me more or less the same guns. Now I've done an unboxing video which I'll put a link in the description, and that will help you see the differences, and it saves me running through all the differences. But they're very much in a similar mould. They take a different cut, different fitting. But as I say, I'll put a link in the description so that you can have a look and see what the differences are anyway. So what we're doing is using it for base and for clear. It's a 1.3 HTE. I don't even know whether they do a HVLP version of these. The HTE seems to be the version that everybody keeps and sells, etc. So that's the version I've got anyway. They probably do, but that's the version I've got. They come in a huge range of tip sets, from I think it's about 1.1 all the way up to 2 or 1.9, something like that. And people often use them in like 1.5 as a wet on wet primer gun, and in 1.8 or 1.9 as a primer gun, you know, a high build primer gun, because the stuff is obviously thicker. But according to the Walcom website, in 1.3 it's actually recommended for base and clear, which is what we're doing today. And this is, as I say, a 1.3. I think I said anyway, it's a 1.3. So we're using it basically for what it's recommended for. My first impressions of the gun is that it is quite light. It's reasonably well made. Some of the control knobs for the fan and the fluid, etc., look a little bit rough. The coating looks a little bit rough. It's not the same as, say, an Iwata or something like that, where the coating just looks a little bit better. But you know, it's a small criticism really of the, you know, compared to the rest of the gun. The rest of the gun feels fine. I don't know how long it will last in normal use. I've noticed that the carbon versions, which I haven't got any videos up yet, but I will do when I get around to it, I will do. The carbon versions seem to mark quite easy. This one didn't seem so bad, and it is, as I say, I actually went from this to a Segola 3300, spraying with this to a Segola 3300, and the difference in weight was immense. So there is a reasonable weight saving with this compared to most full-size guns, which is obviously, as what I said before, is what it is. So if you're looking for a reasonably light gun, reasonably well made, it's a good choice. The performance of it is very, very good. I was very impressed. And this is, I think I'm right in saying, this is the first Walcom I'd ever used at the time. I've got a more of a range now, and I've used quite a few of them. So you know, I know much more about them now, and I've used them much more. but at the time this was the first one that I'd actually used, and I was very impressed with it for what's considered to be a mid, as I say, a mid-range or even cheaper range, really, under £200 with the cup, etc., and a gauge. It comes with a gauge. Is relatively cheap in this day and age with everything going up so much, and the gauge is actually quite good. I'm not using it on this. I'm actually using an ANI gauge, sorry, but the gauge is actually quite good. It comes with a plastic shroud on it, which again, if you look in the description and see the video that I did of the unboxing, I run through the gauge in that, so you get an idea of what it's like. And initially I thought it wasn't particularly well made, but it is actually quite well made, and it's really nice to adjust. So from what I thought was a giveaway gauge that probably does the job but not too bad, I've actually grown to quite like it. Although it looks a bit odd, I've actually grown to quite like the gauge. So that's a good feature, and you get it with it. So if you're new to painting and looking for a reasonable gun to start off with, and you don't want to buy a gauge as well, or you want a reasonable gauge to get you going, then it's a great gun. Now you see I'm putting heat in this. It's about 5 degrees Celsius on this particular day, which is about 40 Fahrenheit. So it's cold. It's very cold. It's about the limit really of. It's coming up to it was just before Christmas, but it's about the limit really of what I like to paint in, because I've got no heat in the workshop, so I have to put heat in the object, in this case a tank, put heat into it, and just heat the clear coat up and just hope for the best really, which it seems to work okay. It wouldn't work on a full car, for example, because you just couldn't get that much heat in. You would need to heat the actual place. But my place is quite big, or relatively big anyway, so it takes quite a lot to heat it up. So I normally heat the item up, and that seems to work fine. So if you're looking to do smaller stuff, think about that, because it saves wasting a load of heat, heating the place up, because on my place it just escapes quickly anyway. So the settings I've put down on the guns, but I used for the base coat and for the clear coat I used 2-bar, which seemed to work perfectly well. I'm not even sure what's recommended. I think it's about 2 bars recommended, but 2-bar worked perfectly well. I did a drop coat with the base coat, so I just put a 1.8 bar, and that seemed to work really well as well. I had the fluid out at 3.5 turns out, which is not quite full fluid, but it seemed to put out plenty enough to move it at a reasonable speed and get a nice little clear coat on, so that you can get a good finish with it. So that worked really well, and it was a very nice gun to use. I was very impressed, and as I say, I've got a few of the Walcoms now, and I've been impressed with all of them, to be fair. I'm doing some more videos on the different guns, so you'll get my views on them. But yeah, they've all been pretty good. But yeah, as you can see from that, I really enjoyed using this, and I think it's really good value for money. You see that I've rolled my sleeves up. As I say, it's really cold, but I've found that if I roll my sleeves up, you get less bits in the paintwork. I know you're supposed to wear an overall, but I'm 6'6", and any overall I get, as soon as I extend my arms, the sleeves roll up my arms, so it's absolutely pointless for me. So I tend not to do it. But here's the final finish anyway. It's a really good finish. The camera doesn't always do it justice. If you're after a flat finish, this really does give you an excellent finish if that's what you're after. You can see in the lights, if you always look in the lights, you'll always catch orange peel in the lights. It's actually a better guide to see it under lights than it is outside. When you take them outside, they look really shiny and you can't really see the orange peel much. If you look at it under lights, where the strip of light is will give you the amount of orange peel there is. So yeah, I hope you liked it, guys. It's only a cheap clear coat, so that didn't do it any favours either. I was really impressed with it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.